Hey guys, maybe you came to this video because you saw my post about, changing these three areas are where I see about 80% of change in myself and with the clients that I work with, and as I work through um, and study from the Macro Missionary Nutrition Coaching Manual. This is like the three areas to focus on: lifestyle, energy balance, and managing inflammation. So let's just go right in head first. Let's dive right into this. This is pretty cool stuff. So, um, I have lifestyle. There's three areas within lifestyle that to consider for yourself when making a nutritional intervention change. So the first one is your environment. So think about your environment. Are you out in the country? Are you a meat and potato? Like, where in the world are you? And working in harmony with the environment that you're in. You know, I grew up on a dairy farm. We had an abundance of milk. We had an abundance of meat products, of, we butchered our own cattle. We had chickens. We had sheep. We were eating that stuff. Like, there is high protein intake. We also grew up in a pretty, like, Amish filled community, and my grandma had a garden, so there was lots of that. And at the same time, too, we also lived in my parents were dairy farmers, so they didn't have a ton of time to be preparing like these immaculate 5-course meals. There was also quite a bit of, it's just like in the environment to have quick meals like Hamburger Helper and frozen chicken and like chicken nuggets and things like that. Where somebody else maybe grew up on the coast, to where they were near fish, and fish is readily available, or the Mediterranean, or maybe, like people in Asian cultures too had more access to plant-based nutrition, like rice and veggies and stuff like that, where they were plant-based. That was their environment. The second area of lifestyle to consider is your culture, the culture around you. I know, like, living here in southern Indiana, it's like you go to fish fries on Friday. Like, people around here eat chili with noodles. I recently, 7 years ago, I moved here to Indiana, and they put noodles in their chili. But that's just another sidebar bit of information. But, like, you think about the Polish culture, or, they're eating sausages, kraut. Italian, they eat the pastas and the pizzas. And Americans, we like hamburgers, fast food. Our culture definitely has an effect on us. Like, why not live in harmony with that culture rather than just like throwing it all out the window and forcing yourself not to eat the foods that everybody else around you is eating and trying to take on some shakes or something? Like, it's just not gonna happen it might work for the short term to do foods and like that kind of thing, but ultimately we're gonna do what the people in our zip code do. And then the third lifestyle area I look at with clients, and Macro Missionary has learned me to look at, is our religion / beliefs. I mean, maybe your belief system is that I love this so much. I had a coworker one time that ate just a lot of peanut butter, and he was so set and dead set on the concept that peanut butter was going to give him all of the energy, all of the nutrition that he needed. And because his mind and his heart was so aligned with that peanut butter, crunchy Peter Pan, that was giving him life. Our digestive system starts in our mind anyway. So if he believes that peanut butter is actually gonna, not saying that it doesn't, but like his passion and love of peanut butter was just so strong that that's gonna trump more than what science actually says. Like, there's a lot of studies out there that say this about this food, but correlation doesn't always match up with causation. You know what I mean? Like, science doesn't trump lifestyle. Just because something works for some people doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. So that's why in my post I talk about that. Like, just because what works for me works really well doesn't mean it's going to work for you based on, you know, belief system, culture, and environment. That's why I'm really keen about just education and awareness with clients that I work with when it comes to nutrition, anything, thoughts, belief systems, any type of energy that you're consuming, you know, just being aware and getting educated on where you're at. You can always, you know, do some short-term changes or some quick fixes that will work for short-term, like supplements or a certain intervention. But at the end of the day, awareness and education will get you further for the rest of your life than just trying to implement a quick fix. All right. That's lifestyle. So we got environment, culture, beliefs. Boom. Next area of importance that I look at. Man, my washer is getting wild. Might delete this video. Anyway, energy balance is the next topic that is very, 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 very important. Oh my goodness. You know, energy balance, what does that even mean? That means two things. It means how much energy is your body utilizing in a day based on your work. Right now I'm talking with my hands because I'm passionate and I have Italian heritage. But that action, that arm movement, my hand twitching, like, you know, getting up and down, whatever is taking energy to make you work, to make you move, have you move, whatever. So knowing how much energy you're burning within a day, and then also calories. I know people, I hated this word. I didn't like calories. I didn't want to look at calories. I didn't want to like even consider caloric intake ever. It was too overwhelming. I didn't want nothing to do with calories because you know what? I knew that calories required me learning. It required me looking at a label and continuing to get awareness and education. But when I started looking at caloric intake, that is where 80% of change occurred. You know, like some of the people that I work with, they're way under, based on their energy of what they're burning each day, like as far as, you know, energy expenditure, like what amount of energy are they burning? How many calories are they burning a day? They're way under on their intake, which is going to cause stress in the body, which I'll go into in the third pillar just in a little bit. I'll talk more about that in a bit. Or maybe they're way, not even way, but just a little bit over on calories where they're bombarding their body with too much consumption, and that's actually ultimately causing stress and strain in the body, where 80% of their results could come from just reducing caloric intake just a little bit. And I know there's so much about nutrition out there, you guys. Like, I too once was so confused and like overwhelmed with like what's right, what's wrong. But trust me on this, like balancing that energy in and with what you're burning on the regular is important. I always like to like our society or like our culture and like just, you know, it's almost like this codependent thing that happens. Like when you go to a restaurant, you're letting the restaurant decide what your portions are. So something that I like to do is box up right away when I go to a restaurant, box up the food that I'm not going to eat. Like some of these portions are massive, and most people leave it, and I used to do this, I left it up to, oh, this is the portion size that the restaurant's giving me. Okay, well, this is what I'm going to eat. Where, we have the power to choose. Like, hey, am I actually going to eat this entire plate of food? Do I actually need this? Do I even know if I need this or not? Another thing that you can do with calories is just to eat high volume foods. So like leafy greens, salads, they're high volume. They take up a lot of space. Like 50 calories worth of salad and veggies, take up a lot of area. They fill up your stomach. They make you feel full, satiate you. Whereas just like a few bits of peanut butter is like a lot of calories. Like just like your thumb size amount of peanut butter is like 200 calories, where that's not going to make you feel full initially. You won't have that full feeling. Yes, it's going to sustain your energy for a long time throughout the day, but you're not going to get that feeling of fullness. Also, really highly protein dense foods like chicken breast, tuna, whey proteins and stuff like that. They're very high in protein, and actually they take up more space, so they make you feel more full without all the calories. So that is all I want to say about that. The third pillar that I look at for myself and work with clients on, work with people, work with change seekers. I love working with the people that are just like so done with whatever. The ones that are really just at this, like, I'm so over where I am that I'm like, just like, teach me, lead me, guide me kind of thing. It's like at that turning point. It's like you stand there, and are you going to take the guidance? Are you going to take the help or not? Those people that want the help, the people that are really ready, anyway, that's who I end up helping most of the time. So the third pillar is inflammation. So inflammation is stress in the body. It's like managing the inflammation. Like anytime, oh gosh, like you feel pain in your joints, even people with migraine headaches, carpal tunnel, joint pain and discomfort, skin problems, just feeling puffy, bloated, IBS, any of these symptoms are just side effects from inflammation. It's your body's response, fight-or-flight response to stress. So managing the inflammation in your body, managing the stress symptom that's in your body. How do we do that? What's that? Like, it goes back, like I was talking earlier about calories. Too much caloric intake is stressing your body, and it's causing you to have inflammation. It's causing you to retain water and get that bloated, puffed up feeling. Also, joint pain, sciatic nerve pain, joint knee problems, even foot pain, like inflamed feet, is all just a imbalance of caloric intake. Too few calories can do this too. That is the main area that you can change right away to get that 80% change, is the caloric intake. Like making sure your calories in and calories out is balanced. Some people are looking at this supplement and that supplement, which is going to make an itty bitty change. If it's not going to really change anything if your caloric intake balance is off. So looking at caloric intake, once again, important. Don't be taking all these supplements if your caloric intake is off. Yeah, they're going to change or help you maybe 1 or 2%. But until you really get clear about, hey, what's my energy balance? Don't waste your money on supplements. Just don't do it. I promise you, you will be thanking me for the rest of your life, and so would your budget, if you weren't taking these expensive supplements that aren't ultimately doing anything because your caloric intake is off. Man, that was a rant. What did you click when you clicked here? You said Valerie's blog /rant. So you knew coming in that I was going to be ranting. How do we balance this inflammation? So 1, caloric intake. 2 is look at anti-inflammatory foods. Grass-fed beef, like, wild-caught fish, salmon, like these, not grain-fed beef. You don't want grain-fed fish. You don't want these farm-raised fish. They're just going to cause you more inflammation. Omega-3 fats, I have a really cool supplement that helps with that, that I love to take right away in the morning. I can just feel the inflammation, that water leaving my body as soon as I take it. Pro and prebiotic foods. What the heck is that? So, I mean, if you like work with me, we talk and learn about these pro and prebiotic foods, leafy greens. Prebiotics that I personally love are like sauerkraut, kimchi is a really good one, yogurt, just things that feed the good gut bacteria. You actually have more bacteria in your stomach or in your body than you actually have human cells. So feeding those little gut buddies, the ones that are going to reduce inflammation, is very, very integral. I think that's the right word to use there in changing your nutrition. Changing your inflammation and releasing that inflammation. Nutrient dense foods. So, at least where I grew up, not everything in our culture is anti-inflammatory. I mean, you go out to eat, there's dressings, there's biscuits, there's bread, there's like the foods that I grew up eating are inflammatory. So yes, they're going to be in my life. Like, for me to sustainably change, I can't just eliminate all of that. Like, that would be a ridiculous ask for anybody to say, hey, throw everything you ever ate growing up, throughout your childhood, throughout your teen years, preteen, early 20s, like, just throw it all out the window. It's like, not sustainable. If you can do it for a short amount of time, but can you really do it over the long term? No. Like, if you can, let me know. Great, I'm happy for you. But like, initially, it needs to be a gradual release of those things. And if you even release them at all, like, maybe they stay in your life forever, and that's fine, because you can do this thing. You can pair or sandwich anti-inflammatory foods with those foods that are inflammatory. Like, yesterday I was eating some I love protein shakes. I grew up actually drinking a ton of milk, which is inflammatory for my system. So by pairing that milk with salad, with a low, like, that really high nutrient dense food, thinking the cauliflower, the cabbage, the kimchi, the spinach, the kale, with the inflammatory foods, maybe one meal you have all those high nutrient dense foods, and then the next meal, you're going out to eat on a Friday night at the restaurant, and they use some inflammatory fats in their cooking, and then that next day you eat a, once again, high nutrient dense, anti-inflammatory rich food. Or maybe you even fast. That works too. Do an herbal remedy fast, whatever works for you, lemon water, something like that. But once again, that calories in, calories out, and being at the correct body weight will help with inflammation more than any single thing. Do you want to get to the perfect body weight, or the ideal body weight, by eating Twinkies and junk food? No, like, once again, that's not a sustainable way to live either. I mean, anybody that is living on those foods, I guarantee you, is not living their best life, and is not going to be living very long anyway. So, like, really, truly, getting to that right body weight in a sustainable way is actually one of the best ways to reduce inflammation in your body. So anyway, 3 pillars of health: lifestyle, your energy balance, and then inflammation. And utilizing those 3 areas in your way, like, you get to create your life. It's your life. It's yours. It's not mine to live. It's not me to tell you what you can and cannot eat. But if by looking at those 3 areas give you the empowerment, education, and awareness for you to be able to make long-term sustainable change, so you have the energy to live the life of your dreams, you're capable of literally doing and having a life of your dreams where you're not stressing about money, where you're not stressing about your job. So taking care of you is like, self-care is like of the utmost importance. So I hope this video helped. And if it did, go ahead and share this video, and let's connect on social media some more. Let's hang out. See ya. Bye.